What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS video. It's for Thursday. It is April 18th, and we have some baseball. The pitching on this slate, or this slate overall, is kind of sus, as the kids would say. 5 games to go over. We've got some pitching options. I'm going to be playing light, but we're still going to cover, we're going to do our normal thing. So if you've never been here before, hopefully you're in for a treat. Hopefully you learned something. We finally hit the 9,000 YouTube subscriber mark, which is awesome. Thank you guys so much. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers before, let's say, Memorial Day weekend, I will give away 2 lifetime passes worth $500 a piece to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So share the videos, tell your friends. Let's get to 10,000. It'd be awesome if we can. But anyway, if you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently here on the channel. We go through every single game that's on the slate. Today it's 5 games. We're going to look at the pitching. We're going to look at the bats. While I do this video, there are simulations running in the background. Now, I do 20,000 simulations a day, and we put them on the website. With the website, under the MLB tab, we have player projection, simulation models, everything you can see on the screen. So what we do is we do 20,000 simulations. We do 10,000 during this video, and I show you guys. What I'm going to do is go over the top 20 bats. Now, it's a 5-game slate, so this isn't indicative of like a normal slate, but we're going to give you the top 20 bats through there. And then after that, we are also going to give you some of our favorite prop bets. Now, there's not always going to be a ton of prop bets, especially on a slate like this. So it's something we do at the end of the video. The other thing we do, besides going through everything here, in the description is the article, is the link to our Discord channel to join. It's also one of our sponsors, DFS Hero, with a fantastic lineup optimizer. We've got them there. We've partnered up with them. So if you guys sign up with their link for the first time and you deposit and you go through the trial period and you get a month subscription, we're going to give you a free month of FTA Plus. If you do the yearly subscription, we're going to give you a free year as well. On top of that, we have giveaways every single day. There are 2 giveaways on every single video we put out. So super easy to do it, and you can win every single day. You can come back today or tomorrow, the next day, until you win a lifetime pass. How do you win? Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment on this video. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. That's a week of MLB, NBA, NASCAR, PGA. NFL once that comes back. If the video gets at least 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month. 150 likes, a chance to win a free year worth $200. Or if a video ever gets 200 or more likes, you have a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. We've given away lifetime passes. We've given away yearly passes before. On top of that, the other way to win, like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment of who you think is going to hit a home run and what inning they're going to hit it in. If you get both of those correct, the player and the inning, you are going to win a free week. All you got to do is screenshot the home run pick of yours from this video. Email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com. And tell me your username on the site, and we'll give you a free week. If you don't have a username, give me a username and the email you would like to use for your username along with the pick, and we will get you set up for a free week. So before we get started, we are going to see who the winner of yesterday's video is. So yeah, let's check out the winner of yesterday's video, and good luck. The winner is Chris Torres, 7856. He has won before. Congratulations, Chris. Let me know that you've seen this video. Click that, and then, yeah, email me, and we'll get you your pass for the free week. So, that being said, we are going to jump into today's mediocre slate at best. So, we're going to try to go over them. We are still waiting on a couple of pitching options to be actually confirmed, but we're still going to go over it. We're going to look at everything, and we're going to see what we can do with what we've got. So let's just jump right into it. Let's get in. Let's check it out. So the first game on the slate, the Angels at the Rays. You've got Griffin Canning versus Ryan Pepiot. Pepiot's never faced him before. Canning, 30 plate appearances, 143 batting average. Tampa Bay has just not been as good of a team as we, are used to at the moment. Again, it's early. We're 3 weeks into the season. I completely understand. So we look at this. Griffin Canning here. He's 6,800 going into this game. Game log-wise, he really hasn't done much. That's the problem. 5 innings is the max he's gone against. He had to go against Baltimore. They are a great team. Got 0.5 fantasy points there, gave up 5 earned runs. He has given up 15 earned runs in 3 starts. He's got a 9.88 ERA, 12 Ks in 3 starts. Not good. 0-2 record, 183 whip. He is all over the place. Again, tournament-wise, because there is 5 games total, that is kind of what we look at. So the problem being, the way it's built right now, there's 3 games for the main slate on DraftKings, and then there's 2 later. So looking at this, the numbers, it's a numbers game here, and Griffin Canning has been absolutely wrecked in the past. He has had success against this Tampa Bay team. Tournament-wise, again, anything can go, especially this early in the season. I'm okay with you kind of looking at Griffin Canning for tournaments. But again, I'm probably focused more on Tampa Bay bats. And it just really depends on the bat. So no one's really had success against him, 30 plate appearances. So if you dig in to a little bit, because people just see the over the number there, and they're like, oh, well, maybe, maybe he just has it. But maybe it's like 1. So you can see it's basically 1 start through the order. Yandy Diaz hasn't done much. Rosarena's 0 for 5. Nico Goodrum's 0 for 5. Isaac Paredes is 1 for 5 with the double. Jose Caballero is 1 for 2. So you look at that, and they really haven't had success. But then you dig into the numbers a little bit. With Baseball Savant, you want to look at the darker red. Now, there aren't a ton of dark red options here, meaning not everyone's hitting well. But if you were to take bats for Tampa Bay, because Griffin Canning has been atrocious, completely understand. Randy Rosarena's been hitting well, bunch of red. Jose Siri is there. Ben Rortvedt will be a cheap option. I mean, if you just want to look at Tampa Bay bats hitter-wise, you got Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe on the IL. Taylor Walls is on the IL. Ben Rortvedt here is 3,100. You dig in, he's batting 320. Obviously, doesn't get a ton of games. Okay, but when he's been in there, he's been okay. All positive fantasy points except for 1 day. But yeah, I mean, he has options here. He would be a cheap on a 3-game slate, a cheap bat at catcher. Because when you look at it, it just depends on who's going to be out there. So Tampa Bay bats, I would definitely be looking at a Rosarena. I would look at Yandy Diaz, Isaac Paredes, Caballero. I do like Ben Rortvedt. I don't know if he's going to be starting, but he is a lefty bat that I could see start there. Those are just some that you could look at. Again, 3-game early slate. Not going to lie, slate kind of stinks. It's unfortunate, but that's what we've got to work with right now. So, flip side of that, Pepiot. Now, we look at Pepiot here. We jump in here. He's 8,100. In this game, or just overall in the season, 5.40 ERA. Had a fantastic start against Colorado. 6 innings, 11 Ks there. San Francisco, he had 6 Ks there. Texas, he had 3 Ks. 5.40 ERA. He is coming off 6 earned runs against Texas to start the season on April 1st, which again, Texas is a great hitting team. He goes into Colorado, which is a not a pitcher's park, and he dominated. And then played San Francisco at home, 11.7 fantasy points. So, game is at home. It's splits-wise. Again, it's 2 games at home. It's got 10 earned runs, whether or not that factors into it. I'm probably not using him. I would rather use the bats. I would look at Nolan Schanuel. I would look at Mike Trout. You could look at Aaron Hicks a little bit, I guess. I almost said Aaron Hernandez. Can't look at him. He's not going to be hitting. Rengifo you could look at. Aaron Hicks, like I said, is cheap. Miguel Sano is a little bit cheap. You look at this. Sano's been hitting well. Logan O'Hoppe, I would use him. If you're using a catcher in this game, I would look at Logan O'Hoppe over Ben Rortvedt here. But he's been hitting well. Taylor Ward's been hitting well. Mike Trout has been looking like his old self. So those would be the ones I'd look at. I really don't want the pitching. I think the offense is what takes it here, and that's what I would look at in the first game. Second game is the Rangers at the Tigers. You got Jack Leiter versus Kenta Maeda. Leiter's obviously making his major league debut. We look at that. He is expensive, $9,000. Just kind of looking. He's kind of hot start in the season. As always, showcase swing and miss stuff. So, and if you guys have been with me before, you know that I love to take a pitcher against a team that he's never faced before, someone making their major league debut. It's unfortunate he's $9,000, but again, 3-game slate, I think he's going to be a very popular pick. You could go against the grain with that, but I'd still like Jack Leiter. And then you got Maeda, $7,800. We stacked against him last time against his old team. Only gave up 1 earned run, 5 Ks, had 17.9, so it didn't work out. And that is something different that I think we bring to the table than other DFS providers. I will admit when I'm wrong. I'm not going to be right 100% of the time. I was off of Maeda, and he had a great game on the 13th. 6 innings, pitched the most he's pitched all year against his former team. Only gave up one of his former teams. Only gave up 1 earned run, had 5 Ks. He did well. Going up against this, we look at Texas bats. 37 plate appearances, a .324 batting average against him. So we can just see if any, is it one player? Is it multiple? So Jankowski's 3 for 11 with a home run, or with a triple. Adolis Garcia's 2 for 7 with a double and a home run. You've got Jared Walsh 1 for 3 with a double. Jonah Heim is 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. So again, that would be what I'd look at. I would be looking at stacking against Maeda. I'm going back to the well. Stacked against Maeda last time didn't work. People will be scared of that. I am going back to the well, stacking Texas bats. If Jankowski's in there, I don't mind him. I don't mind Jonah Heim. I'm looking at Corey Seager at the probably one of my core plays. You could look at, depending if Jared Walsh is in there, you could look at Adolis Garcia. It really just depends. So we look at Jared Walsh, first base. Games, I'm just trying to see splits wise. He's played 10 games. Played 2 against Detroit this year. Hasn't done much. But yeah, I'm still looking at Texas bats against Maeda and Jack Leiter as obviously the top pitching option on this slate here. It's a 3-game slate. Then we got the Guardians at the Red Sox next. Carlos Carrasco versus to be announced. So it's still to be announced. Now, it should be Cooper Criswell. And if you see down below, Alex Cora said Monday that he's considering a bullpen game Thursday versus the Guardians rather than starting Criswell. So this is up in the air. If it is a bullpen day, which if you're already doing that, I feel like you're throwing the game. But I would rather look at Cleveland bats. But again, I don't know if it's going to be Criswell. It sounds like it might be a bullpen day where it's just, the bullpen comes in 1 or 2 innings, which stinks. I hate that this trend started a couple of years ago with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay being trash, did this stupid bullpen thing. Now other teams are doing it. So we look at this. It's probably not going to be Criswell. It could, but it's probably not going to be. So it could be a bullpen day. So it's hard to know. I don't want either of these pitchers. That's the problem. You look at Carrasco, game log wise, 6.5 against the Yankees, 4.2 innings there. Minnesota went 3 innings. Oakland went 5 innings. Gave up the worst amount of runs to Oakland, in Oakland, which is wild. 3.55 ERA. Boston, though, has been bad. So I don't mind Carrasco if you went like a Carrasco lighter, and then you could still average 4,200, something like that, depending. But bats-wise. So if we are curious about the bats, maybe we don't know what bats to use. I kind of like Carrasco a little bit, but I wouldn't be opposed to using bats on both sides. Bo Naylor and Josh Naylor, especially if it's a bullpen game, I don't mind. I would look at Will Brennan. I would look at Jose Ramirez, obviously. Stephen Kwan, Andres Jimenez. Like a Guardian stack makes sense. If you're not going with Carrasco and you want to look at Boston, I do know that is Tyler O'Neill on the IL yet? He's day-to-day because he ran into his ran into Devers. He might be playing Thursday. He might be playing this slate. If he is, he's another option that I would definitely be looking at. But again, he ran into his own dude, so it's kind of something. But he's been their best hitter so far this year. If you're not taking Carrasco, I would look at O'Neill. I would look at Tristan Casas. I would look at Jaron Duran. Devers, I would look at. He's starting to heat up. Depending, Wilyer Abreu, if he's at the top of this lineup, I don't mind. Rafaela would be a tournament option if you are going this route. Again, this is not the best slate. I completely understand that. I'm not a huge fan of this slate at all. So that is the third, or the 3-game early slate, main slate technically, but it is early. It's a 12:10 start time or 1:10 depending on where you're at. Then we got 2 more games. We've got Marlins at the Cubs. You got AJ Puck versus Jameson Taillon. Puck, 12 plate appearance, 364. The way the Cubs have been hitting, it's really hard to want to take anyone against him. And then Taillon, 35 plate appearances, making his debut for the season, which, again, Puck did get pushed back. And then Taillon is making that. 3.2 innings, did have some restrictions. He might have some restrictions here. That's the problem. But again, 2-game slate. Again, not in love with this slate, and there's possibility of rain, but I would fare on the side of going with Taillon here, and I would look at the Cubs bats here. Overall, I mean, 12 plate appearances for Puck, which is not much. It's probably 1 player is a 2 player. Oh, it's spread out, but yeah, Young Gomes is 1 for 2. Miguel Amaya is 1 for 1. I would still be using in this lineup. I would go with, let's just see who's had success, or not success, but let's just see who we could go with here. Michael Busch has been absolutely on fire for the Cubs. Chris Morel against the lefty. I'd absolutely love Chris Morel. I don't mind Ian Happ. I don't mind Dansby Swanson against the lefty. Nico Horner is another one you could look at. It just depends on the lineup that comes out. Garrett Cooper does hit lefties well for the most part. It'll all depend on the lineup that drops for the Cubbies in this one. But I'm off of the AJ Puck train. I am off of the Marlins train. I would look a little bit at Taillon, and I would look at the Cubs bats. But again, there's not much to go off of. Then the last game, Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Giants. Ryan Nelson versus Logan Webb. This is in San Francisco. It is a pitcher's park. You got Ryan Nelson, 32 plate appearances, 323 batting average, 12.5 K percentage, a low percentage there. And then Logan Webb against them, 138 138 plate appearances, 18.1 K percentage, 296 batting average. So let's see if that's bumped up at any, or is he just gotten shelled. For whatever reason, Christian Walker has had his number, 6 for 17, 2 doubles. Ketel Marte, 3 for 19 with a double and a home run. Love him at the top of the lineup because he's going to get at least 4 at-bats, and he has had semi-success. Jake McCarthy batting 375, 6 for 16 with a double. You've got Lourdes Gurriel Jr., 3 for 12 with a double. Corbin Carroll's 4 for 11. Tucker Barnhart's 2 for 3 with a hit double as well. So if we look at this, Logan Webb is the most expensive. 3.8 ERA, so it is a little up there. He's already pitched 4 times this year. This will be his 5th start. Past 2 games, he's gone 7 innings against Tampa Bay and 7 innings against San Diego. 3 earned runs total in those games. The strikeouts have been down for him, though. That's the problem. And Arizona, it seems to have hit him quite well. And then Ryan Nelson, on the other hand, he's actually been pretty good. He dominated Atlanta, did pretty well against St. Louis. I think I would, in this little 2-game slate, I think I would look at Ryan Nelson and Taillon, and then I would look at Arizona bats, and I would look at Cubby bats in this one. So it is a weird little slate. 5 games for today. But yeah, that's basically the breakdown. The pitchers I would use would be Ryan Nelson, Jameson Taillon. I don't love this slate. I'm going to be playing very, very light if I play at all. Just a heads up. I would look at Jack Leiter. He is expensive. Yeah, and that's basically it. So take it very lightly. This is not a slate to go all in on if you've been thinking about doing that. But yeah, so that's the breakdown of there. We have been running these plays. So paper pin, whatever you need. These are the through 10,000. You may not agree with them. I might not agree with them right now. So yeah, let's get going. So number 1, Christian Walker against Webb. Number 2, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. against Webb. Number 3, Ketel Marte against Webb. Number 4 is Yandy Diaz against Griffin Canning. Number 5 is Eugenio Suarez against Logan Webb. Number 6 is Michael Conforto against Ryan Nelson. 7 is Anthony Rendon versus Pepio. 8 is Jock Peterson versus Webb. 9 is Tyro Estrada versus Nelson. 10 is Ian Happ versus Puck. 11 is Cody Bellinger versus Puck. Next up is Taylor Ward versus Pepio, followed by Mike Tauchman versus Puck. I don't know if Tauchman's going to start. That is a cheap Cubs option if he does. Next is Corbin Carroll versus Logan Webb, followed by Matt Chapman versus Nelson, Nico Horner versus Puck. We've got Luis Arraez versus Taillon. Then we've got Mike Trout versus Pepio, Jake McCarthy versus Webb, Isaac Paredes versus Canning, and a cheap option right now, Miguel Amaya versus AJ Puck. So those are just some of the bats. Those are through 10,000 simulations. It will be ran through 20, and that will be our final list for you. But some of the, possible prop bets for home runs, you got kind of like in Jorge Soler against Ryan Nelson at plus 443. Preface this by saying, if you are watching these videos early, these lines probably have shifted for home runs. So obviously the earlier you jump on, the better. Again, we're just giving you the best options on a slate like this. Honestly, I'm probably going to be playing very, very light today. Number 2, batter for possible, really good chance for home run, Christian Walker versus Logan Webb, plus 533. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. versus Webb, plus 635. Lamont Wade Jr. versus Nelson, plus 762. We got Yandy Diaz versus Canning, plus 585. And then a big one is Ketel Marte versus Logan Webb at plus 1,063, which, depending on when you watch this video, that line is probably shifted down quite a bit. So you need to get in there early if you've been thinking about it. So that's what I've got on this little slate. We will be back for Friday slate with Feel Good Friday, whatever we want to call it. Just kind of looking at what we've got, just a little bit of here. You can see not a ton have been posted yet. Looks like Verlander will be making his season debut. A fantastic matchup for him going up against the terrible Washington Nationals. Just kind of a preview. We've got Tampa Bay at the Yankees. Tristan McKenzie trying to bounce back, going up against the A's. Chris Sale against Texas. We're going to go through all of this in tomorrow's video, so definitely check it out. They did move Freddie Peralta. They actually shifted him from Wednesday to Friday. So yeah, got a lot to look at. Hopefully we've got some great studs on this, and we'll see. Will the two Boris clients facing each other? Montgomery making his season debut, and Blake Snell trying not to keep up the terrible numbers that he's had so far this year. So that being said, we look forward to you checking this video out. If you have not already, depending on when you watch this video, we do have PGA starting today as well. So this week consists of MLB, NBA, we got PGA, we got, don't forget about NASCAR on Sunday. So we've got it all for you. Go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Good luck on this slate, and as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!